You know him as Master of Funk, Ben Askren, and AWAWisconsin.com is where he, it's his wrestling. So he coaches kids. AWA. Did I get this wrong?
That's touching.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he coaches kids. He's a good guy. He's obviously a multiple-time world champion. And here to talk with us right now, Funky Ben Askren. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I know this is a weird mix. Don't worry. You don't need to talk about the trial, but obviously...
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about that because I haven't been paying any attention, so I don't want to make a comment.
Well, especially also because you're good friends with Tyrone Woodley, and so that could be a really rough sparring session if you two disagree.
You know what? I have a lot of friends on both sides of the aisle, and I just tell all my friends, I'm going to respect you no matter what you think. And Tyrone and I obviously have very different views on a lot of the world's problems, and we love each other and we respect each other. So I don't really, there's not issues.
Well, there's not issues. There's not issues because you can kick most people's asses. When I used to do drop-ins and then someone recognized me from YouTube and held an armbar for about 10 seconds too long and it popped, I said, oh, I can't do this anymore. Then I noticed when we were changing and he had an upside-down cross tattooed. I'm like, oh, I thought I tapped. But I'm not Funky Ben Askren. So, Ben, I don't know. We don't need to talk about obviously, I would imagine, disappointed with the results with the fight Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the obvious talking point, and you're more than welcome to bring it up because I decided to come on the show, so that's my problem. I'm disappointed. Just kind of, I didn't spend a lot of time on social media yesterday. I had some high school friends over. We played disc golf, grilled out, had a good time. Some people are just like, they don't think I took it seriously. And here's the thing. When I took the fight, I said, number one, it's for the money. Number two, I think it's going to be a good time. I used to box, with my friends in high school just for fun.
Yeah.
And I trained hard for 11 weeks. I didn't miss a practice, and it just didn't go my way. I mean, we knew he had a good overhand right, and I'm a dumbass, and I didn't block it. My defense was a little too loose. I heard my coaches, both Tyrone and Biggie, were saying, hey, stop reacting to his fakes, and I didn't. And I paid the price. And I think one of the things that really separates me from a lot of people is like I could have very easily sat on my couch and said, I don't want to do that because there's a potential that I'll be embarrassed.
Right.
And that would be the only reason I wouldn't have done it. There's no other valid reason. And I said, I'm going to do it. So fuck it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I think you and I are very similar in that way, in that I too find myself unashamed of being embarrassed. For different reasons. Yeah. Now, actually, I just noticed Quarter Black just lit up when you said disc golf. I guess he's into it too. So
yeah,
I don't know what this is.
It's classic.
I feel like it's not something an adult should do.
Know. You should know.
By the way, and I know you're. Okay, what were you about to say there, Ben?
I was just gonna say disc golf is one of the greatest activities. It's it's free in most parks. It costs about $50 to get a set of discs. And it's something I'm very passionate about. So it's really, maybe it'll just give you a little more peace and clarity in your life if you got up to the disc golf course and threw 18 holes once in a while.
Well, I tell you what, maybe we'll do that for an Ash Wednesday where you teach me to disc golf. I've actually never golfed. The only golf I ever did was in high school, and I was in a Canadian high school, and it was very cheap. We did wiffle ball golf because they didn't trust us with actual balls. And I was pretty good at wiffle ball golf. So that's the only golf I've ever played. And I live near a golf course, and I still get balls in my yard. And what I do is I collect them, and I separate them by brand. And then when I see a ball go over the fence that's of similar brand, I dump that entire bucket of the brand of ball just to ruin it.
They're probably pumped. But golf is way more pretentious and expensive. Disc golf's just a bunch of dudes out in the park throwing some discs.
Okay.
Really good crowd of people.
Okay. And by the way, your podcast too. I mean, for people who don't know, like you're pretty unabashedly libertarian, supporter of cryptocurrency, which I don't understand. Is it Flow Wrestling Radio Live?
So I actually do 3 podcasts. I'm on Flow Wrestling Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday mornings. I'm on, usually we're not going today, and we're switching to Tuesdays, but the Funky Crypto Podcast, we talk about crypto. And then I do an MMA one with a guy named Front Row Brian who got kicked off Twitter unfairly.
I remember him.
And we just kind of go whenever we feel like it. We don't really have a schedule, just once in a while.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I don't want to talk about, since, like you said, you just threw it in my face, so you don't want to talk about the fight. Can I ask you about this, though?
You can talk about it.
That event was, and I hope you don't take offense to this, was legitimately the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It set an entire generation back. I mean, I was watching it going, so is this just women just hump And twerk
You heard
now?
me scold. I scolded the owner of the business when they came to my locker room. That's all live on camera.
I don't know if you saw the one where the guy, the person of color in the one floor of the cuckoo's nest had his hat. He was yelling, "Bitch!" That was his catchphrase, "Bitch!" And this girl is in a mesh bodysuit. She turns around, grabs with her fingers, and spreads the bottom of her butt cheeks. Like, how's that person going to tell their kids to be home at curfew? I don't understand.
No, I don't recall seeing that part, but yeah, I mean, so Pete Davidson came to interview me, and the behind the cameras was, I believe, the executive producer of the show.
Pete Davidson was?
No, Pete Davidson interviewed me.
Oh, yeah.
We sat down, okay, and then the executive producer of the show was like behind the camera.
Okay.
And I said, "Hey, man, Bert, hey, I have a lot of my wrestling kids watching this. I mean, my brother and I run 5 academies. I can't even imagine what their parents are thinking right now. I feel so effing guilty that their parents are either having to like kick them out or like explain to them what the hell is going on right here. Because,
or they've been banging on the bathroom door for the last hour and a half going, "Get out now!"
Yeah. I mean, I like to be kind of socially liberal, but that was
No. This is beyond socially liberal.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, you couldn't do this in a strip club in the 70s. I honestly thought, I'm not going to make it to your fight. It was about 2.5 hours where there's no fight.
Yes. Yeah, the first fight was a DJ versus a boxer, which was really, really strange. But then it was a very long time till the next fight came up. Mostly musical performances and dancing, and maybe I'm America's dad, but I did find the entertainment to be very distasteful. And actually, I think everyone in my locker room kind of felt similarly.
Really, and these are fighters. But here's the thing: what are you going to do in 10 years when your kids grow up? They're going to find this on the internet, and I'm like, let me go watch some of Dad's old fights, and they'll have to get through 140 minutes of stripping.
I'm sure they could just type in the name of the fight and they would find just the clip. I'm sure they're not going to need to watch the whole production. So that is positive. I mean, obviously there's the obvious that I'm sure kids are finding worse than this on YouTube and Instagram, unfortunately. But yeah, I didn't love it.
No, I can't. I felt genuinely depressed when I was watching. I was going, oh my gosh, if this is what I've heard of people being out of touch with the youth culture, but I was like, this is not Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand, or I was saying even going back to Salt and Pepper, Push It, that was considered scandalous. And then it was like, nah. It was back when it happened. Push it good. And then I'm watching it. My wife, this is the truth. I go, hey, you have to watch this. This is a disaster because everyone's high at the which I assume the EP executive producer was too. I said, sweetheart, you got to come up. Everyone's high. Everyone's drunk. This is gonna, like, I'm tuning in for the fight. This is crazy. And then she walks up, and then it's just the lady going, "My pussy," and then she goes, "Oh, what are you watching?" And I'm like, I swear it wasn't this one. Before you came up, there was a fight, and it was 20 minutes of just undulation.
My wife was hoping that Kanye and Bieber would do a Sunday service to redeem what we watched on Saturday night. And you know what? I don't personally smoke pot, but I don't have anything really against it for certain adults. But the glorification of it was kind of strange to me. I mean, they were really putting it up there on a pedestal, and that was like kind of eye roll.
Yeah, well, it was because he had Oscar De La Hoya. That's what happens when you combine uppers and downers.
Oscar had been doing some other stuff.
Yeah, he didn't even get it in the name. He's going, "Go USSR, baby!" And as the guy was on the Navy ship USS FA, he's like, "USSR, baby, go, baby, USSR!" Like, does he think he's watching Rocky IV? So anyway, well, listen, Ben, I know it's a weird day today, and look, I really appreciate you getting in there and taking a swing at it. And look, let's do a segment here in the future where you can teach me disc golf, and I'll be sure to not enjoy it, but be a good sport.
You might really enjoy it. Where do you guys live?
We're in the general state of Texas. Yeah.
Texas. So there's a lot of great disc golf.
But you're still in Wisconsin, right? So I'm a Michigan guy.
Are you in Austin? Austin, Texas?
Come on, I'm not going to do that right now. Terrorists are watching. But I spend a lot of time in
Michigan. You could say like the general vicinity. Austin's like 60 miles wide.
Well, listen, you know what? I don't know. You know what? Let's just put a pin in where Alex Jones is in Austin and just assume that I live there. But I'm in the Midwest quite a bit. All my family, they live in Michigan. I was born in Michigan, and the UP is ours. Sorry about that, Wisconsin. So it's
That's
a little
weird. It's really weird that belongs to Michigan.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But Oh, well, enjoy your non-UP Wisconsin. We'll be in touch, and we'll do the disc golf. And again, that's where's your Twitter, Ben, where people can find you?
It's just Ben Askren on everything. I got 23 holes of disc golf at my house, not open to the public, but you're invited if you want to come, Stephen. Okay. And then my brother and I own 5 wrestling academies. And the other thing, people were upset that I was smiling afterwards with my wife. I told all of you people before I took this fight, I don't give a shit about the result. When I'm in there, I'm going to try to fight hard. But at the end of the day, on Monday, I'm going to go back to podcasting and coaching wrestling. Yeah. And my wife said something funny to me, and I laughed, and people are upset about it. They really need to get a life, and I think they're trying to export their own emotions on me.
Well, I think that if anything, they should be more upset about the fact that after Jake Paul won, he sobbed like he had just defeated Marvin Hagler.
Did? Oh, God. Yeah.
Also, I didn't get the in memoriam. It's like they have DMX and then also Shadow. And my wife was like, well, that's Jake Paul's bodyguard, and it's sad, but this is just, everything is weird. So, all right, Funky Ben, thank you so much. We'll be in touch, brother. Appreciate it. Rest up.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.